Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante, making Gotham great again. We've been talking a lot about climate collapse on this show, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. Every summer, I talk about the fires, and the fire season, again, started early. It started in May. New Mexico just had one of the worst fires it's ever had. I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse. And one of the big things we're dealing with right now is the entire western half of the United States is in a crazy drought. The West just experienced an aspect of the climate crisis that scientists have warned of for years. This was on CNN, June 16th. Now, this is what CNN does. They put it on their website. They might do one little segment on this, but they're not screaming about it. And Earth Day comes along, and it's all the stuff that you and I should do, which is fine. Oh, use less plastic and this and that. But CNN never does. CNN should be screaming from the mountaintops. The military, the U.S. military is the number one polluter in the world. These big corporations, they should be screaming, but they don't. They say, see, we covered it. And we did a whole Earth Day celebration, like telling kids to, bring a canvas bag to the grocery store with mommy is not, okay, great. That's great. But that's not, maybe we stop bombing everybody and destroying the planet. Maybe we, on down the line. So this is the map, again, that was on the CNN site. So red is exceptional drought, this kind of brownish one. So the darker the color, the worse that it is. It's even here look at the Gulf states here. Or not the Gulf states, but the North Carolina and Georgia. It's a lot of rural farmland in there. Look at these little Wisconsin, Illinois. This is all farmland. Look at this. It's not just the West Coast. I mean, this is Nebraska, South Dakota, Montana. I mean, this is half of the country is in extreme drought, some level of severe or extreme drought. I mean, these light ones are abnormally dry, but anything dark and up is drought. Moderate, severe, extreme, exceptional drought. New Mexico, again, one of the worst places in the country for drought, just had one of their worst fires. Look at Texas, which we talked about a year ago when they had the ice storm and their power grid went out. They didn't fix their power grid. And I said every summer, Texas is hot. It's 120 degrees with humidity. I mean, it's coming. And you've got all this drought. Look at California. California provides huge portions of the country, all of this produce. What happens if there's no water to make it? I say this time and time again, rather than pipelines for oil and natural gas, what if we had water pipelines? Because they've had a lot of flooding in like Michigan and other places like that. But we're going to show you what just happened up in Yellowstone. Because of this prolonged drought, a big rainstorm happened and the earth was too dry to absorb it. So it just caused flooding. That's what scientists have been warning about. That's what they covered in this article. In the middle of the prolonged water shortage inducing mega-drought, one area, Yellowstone, was overwhelmed by drenching rainfall and rapid snowmelt that instead of replenishing the ground over a matter of weeks or months, created a torrent of flash flooding that ripped out roads and bridges and caused severe damage to one of the country's most cherished national parks. That's what scientists have been worrying about. When we have severe drought, the soil becomes hard. It's almost like concrete. It can't even absorb the water when the rain finally does come. So what it does then, just like when there's, floods in an urban area, the water just rushes through everything. It doesn't get absorbed by the soil. Scientists have been warning about this. We're not even scratching the surface of all of the collateral damage that climate collapse is going to bring. Well, here's one right now. At least 200 cattle deaths reported due to the heat, humidity in Southwest Kansas. Right? And let's go back to Kansas. There's Kansas right there, Southwest Kansas. That's where the drought is. 2,000 cattle just died in Southwest Kansas. This is all farmland, guys. This is all farmland. This is the middle of the country. This is the breadbasket of the world. $2,000 cattle deaths reported due to the heat, humidity, and so that's, again, it's economic, but again, that's a food source. So they're not dairy cows, but they're cattle. They're beef cows. So that's it's another reason to go vegan, I guess, go plant-based, but that's bad. That's bad for the economy in Kansas. That's bad for the food supply. Oh, great. Does this mean everybody's hamburgers costs go up now on top of the $6 gas again, the inflation across the board, supply chain issues? We can't even get baby formula. This is preposterous. And this is only going to get worse. Since Russian invasion, the cost to produce wind energy has gone up $0.00. Maybe we need real climate solutions rather than spending. We just sent another $1 billion to Ukraine. We've sent over $54 billion to Ukraine. So I just want to let's bring us back to this map. So these are all Americans suffering. These are American businesses. These are American farmers. And it's not just like the farmers working on the land. It's all of the ancillary businesses that surround agriculture. The distribution, the trucks, the feed, all of the seeds and all that. I'm not a farmer, but you can just only imagine how many jobs are impacted. Right? And the people that deny climate change, which is mostly Republicans, there's some Democrats that deny climate, and Nancy Pelosi backs them up. But the Republicans just flat out deny climate change. The Democrats say, we got to do something about climate, and then do nothing. So both parties are useless in that regard. But you can't deny this, man. You can't deny this. These are red states. These are blue states. It doesn't matter. Climate change doesn't care who you voted for. This is tens of millions of people. This is hundreds of billions of dollars in lost revenue and damages and everything else. So rather than spending endless money on war, why don't we, help the American people? Because if we don't have water to grow food, kind of feels like that's sort of a big issue if humans can't eat. I don't know. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but I feel like humans being unable to grow food might be bad for the survival of those same humans. But I don't know. I went to public school, so as long as the stock price is doing well, right? We need a pipeline of water. Imagine if we, instead of oil pipelines, we had water pipelines. So when Yellowstone, which is up, I think in Montana, up here. So they have the floods, right? Any area that's getting flooding. I know Michigan has had flooding. We could send that water to this part of the country, right? On top of, we need a Green New Deal there's not one fix. We need to limit fossil fuels. I did a video showing it would save us $600 billion if we stop burning fossil fuels. Stop using gas and coal. Stop using it. We have 50,000 deaths a year as a result of it. We would save lives, right? We would improve the economy. This is not good. We're heading into a recession, and now we're going to have what? Higher food costs and supply chain issues because of a drought and a flood. We need bold. This is why I was so against Joe Biden when he was running in the primary, when he literally said, we need a middle ground on climate policy. This is what a middle ground looks like. Okay, they just repealed some of the dumb legislation that Trump had and just put back more of this incremental centrism that the Democrats love so much. This needs real change. This needs like an innovative, huge top-down solution, or America's going to go belly up. Like we won't be able to feed ourselves. And this kind of drought and stuff is happening all over the world. Or we can just keep bombing people and sending money to the Ukraine. You know, a war that America helped start. It's a proxy war with Russia. We should be sitting down with Russia and China going, hey, how do we solve this? How do we save the human race? Let's all work together in this. No, we just got to bomb because Raytheon and Boeing and all these other greedy assholes suck every penny out of America. Wall Street got bailouts. Farms didn't. So if America is just going to be like, Biden's awful, and they're going to vote out Biden and replace him with some dumb Republican, that dumb Republican will be an idiot for 4 or 8 years and be horrible. And then, well, we got to vote him out. Like, when is America going to wake up? I don't think America can't withstand this. In the next 5 years, by the 2028 election, America won't be, we will have collapsed. Some of these states will have split off. There'd be a civil war. I don't know what, but America's done. Like, I blame the incremental centrism of the liberals in the Democratic Party and the progressives within the Democratic Party that do nothing. The 100-person Democratic progressive caucus in Congress does nothing. The squad, nothing. Bernie, this is what you get when you went, my good friend Joe Biden, you know, there's this video going around of Bernie really sticking it to Lindsey Graham. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I wish you would have stuck it to Joe Biden. Because if we had Bernie in the White House, maybe we would have a chance against this. Because he would have the popular vote. He would have everybody like on his side. He would have already done like student debt forgiveness. We all would have had all these executive orders he would have done. Medicare for all. So everyone would be like, I'm on board with Bernie. He's going to get us out of this. But that didn't happen. So now we're left with inept, corporate, centrist Democrats that are just as bad as the Republicans. They're just as bad. And this doesn't care who you voted for. It doesn't care about your identity politics. It doesn't care that, the first ever, black woman is a vice president because she gets money from Wall Street. Biden and Harris were the two most funded candidates in the 2020 Democratic primary by billionaires. The two that people received the most money from billionaires were Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They don't care. This doesn't care about that. This doesn't care about if you're a red state, what your family values and your Second Amendment. It doesn't give a shit about that. This is happening. It's happening right now. It's coming for you. It doesn't care. It doesn't care if you're a red state voter. It doesn't care if you got a MAGA hat. It doesn't care if you're a vote for any blue. It doesn't care. It's coming. So if you want to keep having the same little stupid cat fight between this red and these blue, horribly corrupt parties that allowed this to happen, because both parties are bought and paid for by oil companies, by Wall Street. They don't, by the military. The military, I showed this to you. I've shown this to you time and time again. They spent $49 million in the 2020 campaign across all candidates. They gave Trump $2.7 million. They gave Joe Biden $3.1 million. That ensures that whoever would have won, we'd still be at war. Anybody who says Donald Trump we wouldn't be at war in the Ukraine if Trump was president is lying. In Obama's last year in office, he dropped 26,171 bombs, way more than Bush, which was offensive. In Trump's first year, he dropped 40,000 bombs. You think if he would have got reelected, he would have toned it down? Come on. This is the single greatest threat we're all facing is climate collapse. And it's going to look like this. It's going to be all these kind of crazy floods, crazy drought, all this stuff. Cattle's dying. It's going to be horrible. All the money connected out to get the truth, guys. It's going to take we got to address this. You think those cattle ranchers in Southwest Kansas? It doesn't. The 2,000 dead cows don't care who you voted for, because if you vote for either one of these corrupt parties, we're all going to die. If Trump would have got reelected, we'd all be dead by 2040. Joe Biden, oh, we're going to die in 2045. We get an extra 5 years of living in a dystopian hellscape. I don't know what to do. I mean, you guys watch this show because you're smart and informed and you want to be informed. You don't want to follow conspiracy theories and craziness. You don't want to jump on some cult train. You don't want to watch shows that just chase clicks. So do direct actions where you live, and everything you should be doing should have some sort of relevance to helping stop climate collapse in one way or another. And unless somebody really comes up with some real solutions, I don't know what we're going to do. I mean, the solutions are out there. Green New Deal, there's all this green technology. I've done dozens of videos showing all the ways we could do. We just need it done on a mass scale. If we spent the kind of money we spent, like $3.5 trillion, that's what we wasted in Afghanistan for 20 years. 4 presidents from both political parties spent $3.5 trillion in 20 years to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Gee, I wonder if we spent $3.5 trillion on climate, on green jobs, what America would look like. It wouldn't look like that map. You can't shoot climate change with your gun, folks. You can't shoot a drought with your gun. And you can't beat it with your rainbow flag or any of the nonsense that people who support these two dumb, corrupt parties support. Shave your knuckles for justice.